Hello everyone, let's start our today's video with a topic that is food security. So what is food security? So food security is to secure food, but in what manner we'll be talking about it in detail. So we have to actually ensure that food is available to all the sections of the society or all the people who are living in that country, and it is the work of the government to provide food to everybody. And hence, for that, our government has carefully designed a national food security system. So we'll be talking about that, what it is in detail. Now basically this national food security system has two components, that is buffer stock and public distribution system, or the short form that we can use for public distribution system is PDS. Now what is PDS? So PDS basically is a program that helps in providing food grains and other essential commodities at subsidized rate or at low rate from the market price in the rural and the urban areas for the lower section of the society or the lower strata of the society who are economically not well off. Now the primary objective of this policy, of the PDS policy or the public distribution system policy, is that the objective is that it ensures that food grain reaches the common people at affordable prices. Now this policy basically focuses on growth in agriculture production so that the food grains can reach the common people at affordable prices, and also it works on fixing the support price for the procurement or the collection of wheat and rice so that the stock can be maintained. Now the FCI or the Food Corporation of India procures or collects and stocks the food grains, whereas the distribution is ensured by the PDS. Now the work of the FCI or the Food Corporation of India is to collect the food grains, and for the distribution, public distribution system is there. Now a very important question arises that how are food grains procured by FCI, or what are the disadvantages and the advantages of this method. Now FCI or the Food Corporation of India procures or collects the food grains from the farmers at the minimum support price or the MSP. Now in this, the government used actually to provide subsidies on agricultural inputs like fertilizers, water, that is being used by the farmers for better growth of their food grains. So all the implements or all the things required for agriculture or agriculture inputs are provided to the farmers by the government at subsidized rates. And after that, FCI or the Food Corporation of India also procures the food grains or collects the food grains from the farmers at the minimum support price. Now, but these have actually now reached sustainable levels and also have actually led to a large scale inefficiencies in the use of these scarce inputs. Now, there is excessive use of water and fertilizers. Now, what is the disadvantage of excessive use of water and fertilizers is that there is waterlogging, there is salinity, and also there is depletion of the micronutrients in the soil, and the soil quality is degrading or decreasing. Now, the high MSP or the minimum support price, subsidies in input, and the committed FCI purchases have distorted the cropping pattern. Talk about wheat and paddy, for example. Wheat and paddy crops that are grown in Punjab and Haryana are grown for the MSP or the minimum support price the farmers are getting for growing wheat and paddy. Now, due to this, it has created imbalance in the intercrop parities. Now, the next question is that how are consumers divided and what are the drawbacks or the disadvantages regarding this? So the consumers are divided into two categories, that is above poverty line and below poverty line, that is BPL and APL. Now, however, if we talk about this categorization, that is dividing of consumers into two categories, it is not perfect, as a number of deserving poor that are being excluded from the BPL category, and some of them are called as APL, or the above poverty line, slip back to BPL. So sometimes there is a slip, or there is a change between the consumers in each category. Why it is so? Because of the failure of one crop, and it is administratively difficult to accommodate such shifts. So when the crop is doing well, that person can be above poverty line, and when there is the season when the crop is not doing well, or there is some famine or that sort of a thing, so then that person can slip down to the BPL, that is below poverty line category. Now the next question is that how can we become self-sufficient? Self-sufficiency can be attained or can be obtained if the government provides proper agricultural infrastructure, credit facilities, and also it encourages the use of latest techniques so that the production can be increased. Now, instead of concentrating only on wheat and rice or the main crops, the food crops with a better growth potential can also be grown in that particular area, and for that, encouragement can be done from the government. Now, creation of necessary infrastructure is very important for the better growth of the crops. For example, irrigation facility should be there, availability of electricity should be there. So, this may actually attract private investments also in agriculture. Now, basically, the focus should be on increasing the food grain production, which should be on a sustainable basis, and also there should be availability of free trade in grains that will be creating massive employment opportunities and will be reducing the poverty in rural areas. Now, the next question is, what is the future of India's food security? A big question. So, what is the status of food security in India, or what is the future of food security in India? So, there is a shift from cultivation of food crops to the cultivation of fruits and vegetables we talk about, if you remember. Oil seeds are grown, industrial crops are grown. Now, this shift has actually led to the reduction of net sown area under the cereals and pulses. Now, the competition for land between the non agricultural uses and the land that is used for agricultural purposes has reduced the net sown area. Now, the productivity of land is declining due to fertilizers that are being used, pesticides and insecticides that are being used for the increased production of the crops. So, what is that doing? That is degrading the land or the soil quality. Now, also very importantly, a big problem is scarcity of water that has actually led to the reduction of area that is under irrigation, whereas also very importantly, insufficient water is a big problem. And also, inefficient water management has also led to the waterlogging and salinity in many areas. Now, look at this table very carefully. This table is showing you various food grains production over the years. Now you can see in rice there is an increase in the production, and somewhat there is increase in the production from 2006 to 2007, and then there is increase in 2008 as well, but in the year 2009 to 2010 there is a decrease. So same is the case with wheat and coarse grain, that has the production has declined over the years, and same is the case with pulses, the production has increased over the years. So for some food grains the production has increased, and for some the production has decreased. Now there is a very important question that arises, is that why has the food grain production remained stagnant in some cases or fallen for the 5 consecutive years if we talk about the coarse grains? So the reasons can be maybe due to land degradation, or maybe due to reduced water storage in aquifers, or due to unsustainable pumping, and also a very important cause of stagnant or the fallen production of the various food grains can be that there is inadequate storage and marketing facilities for those crops, and the farmers that have to pay high prices for HYV seeds or the high yielding variety seeds and the fertilizers, etc., they are lacking bargaining power to fix the prices in their favor. Now, there is also higher supply, and there is low demand for all these crops, and this has caused actually distress sale. Now, therefore, there can be no food security without the security of small farmers. So, food security system of India or food security system of any country should include the security of small farmers as well. Now, the next topic is that what is the impact of globalization on agriculture? Very importantly, in the 19th century, if we talk about the European traders, they came to India, and Indian spices were very important. And Indian spices were exported to different countries by those European traders. They were exported to different countries of the world, and the farmers were actually encouraged to grow more and more spices. Now, even today, if we talk about, Indian spices are in great demand in the world, and even today, they are very important export item that are being exported from India to the other parts of the world. Now, during the British period, if we talk about cotton belts of India, they have attracted the Britishers, and they have actually eventually the cotton that was being exported to Britain as a raw material for their textile industries. So cotton was exported by the Britishers to actually being used as a raw material for their textile industries. Now, the Champaran movement, if you remember, we studied in Nationalism in India chapter. The Champaran movement started in 1917 in Bihar, and because of this, the farmers of that region were, why this movement was there? Because the farmers of that region were forced to grow indigo for the British textile industries, and hence the farmers actually were not in favor of growing indigo, as that was actually spoiling that area or the soil, and that is why the farmers were not in favor of growing indigo, and the Champaran movement occurred. Now, under globalization, if we talk about, particularly if we talk about 1990s period, Indian farmers have been exposed to new challenges. There are various challenges that the Indian farmers are facing, and despite India being a very important producer of rice, cotton, rubber, tea, coffee, jute, and spices, our agricultural products are not able to compete with the agricultural products of the developed countries, and due to their highly subsidized agriculture in those developed areas or in those developed countries, our agricultural products are facing a big challenge in the world market. Now, it is very important to make agriculture successful and profitable, and there should be a proper thrust that should be given to the improvement of the condition of marginal and small farmers. As I told you in the earlier slide as well, that food security, if the country is focusing on food security, it has to also focus on the condition of the small farmers. Now, the Green Revolution promised much, but it is being alleged that it has caused land degradation. Now, the keyword today is that gene revolution, which includes genetic engineering. Now, what is that? So there is organic farming that is much in vogue today, and because the organic farming is being practiced without the factory made chemicals and without the use of fertilizers and pesticides, and hence it is not affecting the environment in a negative manner. But one disadvantage of organic farming, I should be telling you that the crops that are being produced by organic farming are a little expensive than the normal crops. Now, hence, it is very difficult for the lower strata of the society or for the low income families to afford the organic farming products. Now, Indian farmers have actually a bleak future if they continue growing food grains on the holdings that grow smaller and smaller as the population is rising day by day. Now, the Indian farmers should diversify their cropping pattern from cereals to high value crops, and this will in turn increase their income and also will help in reducing the environmental degradation simultaneously. Now, India's diverse climate can be harnessed to grow or can be used to grow a wide range of high value crops. Very importantly, you should know that organic agriculture will adapt to climate change more quickly. So, children, that's all for today. Today, we have finished our chapter number 4 of geography, that is agriculture. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.